Guys, today I'm going to read Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. What is it? Dear ma'am, thank you for shopping with us. I would request please rate me in 5-star and positive review follow. I would appreciate for the same. If you have an issue, please call at this. You didn't even mention your website. Why should I review you? Okay. So, if anyone I have offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think I was also going to be a chill, normal dude? Elon Musk. I don't think so. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs, okay. Let's see, Mr. Musk, what you have got in your life, because I know only a little about you. Prologue. Muse of Fire. The playground. As a kid growing up in South Africa, Elon Musk knew pain and learned how to survive it. When he was 12, he was taken by a bus to wilderness survival camp known as a well school. It was a paramilitary Lord of the Flies, he recalls. The kids were each given small rations of food and water, and they were allowed, indeed encouraged, to fight over them. Bullying was considered a virtue, his younger brother Kimball says. The big kids quickly learned to punch the little ones in the face and take their stuff. Elon, who was small and emotionally awkward, got beaten up twice. He was like me. He would end up losing 10 pounds. Oh my god. Near the end of the first week, the boys were divided into two groups and told to attack each other. It was so insane, mind-blowing, Musk recalls. Every few years, one of the kids would die. The counselors would recount such stories as warnings. Don't be stupid like that dumb fuck who died last year. They would say, don't be the weak dumb fuck. Oh my god. It's a little bit, harsh. The second time Elon went to well school, he was about to turn 16. He had gotten much bigger, bursting up to 6 feet with a beer-like frame, and had learned some judo. So well school wasn't so bad. I realized by then, that if someone bullied me, I could punch them very hard in the nose, and then they wouldn't bully me again. They might beat the shit out of me, but if I had punched them hard in the nose, they wouldn't come after me again. South Africa in the 1980s was a violent place, with machine gun attacks and knife killings common. Once, when Elon and Kimmel got off a train on their way to an anti-apartheid music concert, they had to wade through a pool of blood next to a dead person with a knife still sticking out of his brain. For the rest of the evening, the blood on the soles of their sneakers made a sticky sound against the pavement. The Musk family kept German Shepherd dogs that were trained to attack anyone running by the house. When he was 6, Elon Musk was racing down the driveway and his fortune dog attacked him, taking a massive bite out of his back. In the emergency room, when they were preparing to stitch him up, he resisted being treated until he was promised that the dog cannot be punished. "You're not going to kill him, are you?" Elon asked. They swore that they wouldn't. In recounting the story, Musk pauses and stares vacantly for a very long time. Then they damn well shot the dog dead. His most searing experience came at school. For a long time, he was the youngest and smallest student in his class. He had trouble picking up social cues. Empathy did not come naturally, and he had neither the desire nor the instinct to be ingratiating. As a result, he was regularly picked up on by bullies who would come up and punch him in the face. If you have never been punched in the nose, you have no idea how it affects you the rest of your life, he says. At assembly one morning, a student who was horsing around with a gang of friends bumped into him. Elon pushed him back. Words were exchanged. The boy and his friends hunted Elon down at recess and found him eating a sandwich. They came up from behind, kicked him in the head, and pushed him down a set of concrete steps. They sat on him and just keep beating the shit out of him and kicking him in the head, says Kimball, who had been sitting with him. When they got finished, I couldn't even recognize his face. It was such a swollen ball of flesh that you could barely see his eyes. He was taken to the hospital and was out of school for a week. Decades later, he was still getting corrective surgery to try to fix the tissues inside his nose. But those scars were minor compared to the emotional ones inflicted by his father. Errol Musk, an engineer, rogue, and charismatic fantasist who, to this day, did bedevils Elon. After the school fight, Errol sided with the kid who pummeled Elon's face. The boy just lost his father to suicide and Elon had called him stupid. Errol says, Elon had this tendency and to call people stupid. How could I possibly blame that child? When Elon finally came home from the hospital, his father betrayed him. I had to stand for an hour as he yelled at me and called me an idiot and told me that I was just worthless. Elon recalls. Kimball, who had to watch the tirade, says it was the worst memory of his life. My father just lost it, went ballistic, as he often did. He had zero compassion. Both Elon and Kimball, who no longer speak to their father, say that his claim that Elon provoked them attack is unhinged and that the perpetrator ended up being sent to juvenile prison for it. They say their father is a volatile fabulist, regularly spinning tales that are loaded with fantasies, sometimes calculated and at other times delusional. He has a Jekyll and Hyde nature. They say 1 minute he would be friendly, the next he would launch into an hour or more of unrelenting abuse. He would end every trade by telling Elon how pathetic he was. Elon would just have to stand there, not allowed to leave. It was mental torture. Elon says, pausing for a long time and choking up slightly, he sure knew how to make anything terrible. When I call Errol, he talks to me for almost 3 hours and then follows up regularly with calls and texts over the next 2 years. He is eager to describe and send me photos of the nice things he provided to his kids, at least during the periods when his engineering business was doing well. At one point, he drove a Rolls-Royce, built a wilderness lodge with his boys, and got a raw emeralds from mine owner in Zambia until that business collapsed. But he admits that he encouraged a physical and emotional toughness that experience with me would have made school quite tame. He says, adding that violence was simply part of the learning experience in South Africa. Two held you down while another pumped you face with a long log and so on. New boys were forced to fight the school thug on their first day at a new school. He proudly concedes that he exercised an extremely stern streetwise autocracy with his boys. Then he makes a point of adding, Elon would later apply that same stern autocracy to himself and others. Adversity shaped me. Someone nice said that every man is trying to live up to his father's expectations or make up for his father's mistake. Barack Obama wrote in his memoirs, and it supported me explain my particular melody. In Elon Musk's case, his father's impact on his psyche would linger. Despite many attempts to banish him, both physically and psychologically, Elon's moods would cycle though light and dark, intense. Intense and goofy, detached and emotional with occasional plunges into what those around him dreaded as human mood. If you guys are thinking what I was doing, like why I was reading like this, because I'm using a pen technique. Okay, this is the pen. For I can't keep this pen for a longer time in my mouth, but I do practice it for a 30 second or a 1 minute so that my English can improve, or you can say my speaking accent can improve. If you are watching me for a long time, you know that how I sound when I create videos while recording. So that's it, I think. So let's get back into reading. And yeah, about this paper, let's make it a bookmark. Today is Sunday and I'm reading book right now and I'm all alone. Yes, now it's done. You see, this is the bookmark that I'm using. Well, thank you for sending me this. Oh, I forgot, yaar. This is Elon Musk. Dark, intense and goofy, detached and emotional with occasional plunges into what those around him dreaded as demon mode. Unlike his father, he would be caring with his kids, but in other ways his behavior would hint at a danger that needed to be constantly battled. The specter that, as his mother put it, he might become his father. It's one of the most resonant tropes in mythology. To what extent does the epic quest of the Star Wars hero require exorcising demons bequeathed by Darth Vader and wrestling with the dark side of the Force? With a childhood with a childhood like his in South Africa, I think you have to shut yourself down emotionally in some ways, says his first wife Justine, the mother of 5 of his surviving 10 children. If your father is always calling you a moron, an idiot, maybe the only response is to turn off anything inside that would have opened up an emotional dimension that he didn't have tools to deal with. This emotional shut-off valve could make him callous, but it also made him a risk-seeking innovator. He learned to shut down fear. She says, if you turn off fear, then maybe you have to turn off other things like joy or empathy. The PTSD from his childhood also instilled post-traumatic syndrome disorder. I think this is the full form. Also instilled in him an aversion to contentment. I just don't think he knows how to savor success and smell the flowers, says Claire Boucher, the artist known as Grimes, who is the mother of 3 of his other children. Okay, so 5 children and 3 children, total 8 children. I think he got conditioned in childhood that life is pain. Musk agrees. Adversity shaped me, he says. My pain threshold became very high. During a particularly hellish period of his life in 2008, after the first 3 launches of his SpaceX rockets exploded and Tesla was about to go bankrupt, he would wake up thrashing and recount to Tallulah Riley, who became his second wife, the horrendous things his father had once said. I'd heard him use those phrases himself. She says it had a profound effect on how he operates. When he recalled these memories, he would zone out and seem to be disappeared behind his teal-colored eyes. I think he wasn't conscious of how that still affected him because he thought of it as something in his childhood. Riley says, but he's retained a childlike, almost stunned sight. Inside the man, he is still there as a child standing in front of his dad. Who are they? Elon Musk. Out of this cauldron, Musk developed an aura that made him seem, at times, like an alien, as if his Mars mission were an aspiration to return home and his desire to build humanoid robots were a quest for a kinship. You'd not be totally shocked if he ripped off his shirt and you discovered that he had no navel and was not of this planet born. But his childhood also made him all too human, a tough yet vulnerable boy who decided to embark on a big request. He developed a fervor that cloaked his goofiness, and a goofiness that cloaked his fervor. Slightly uncomfortable in his own body like a big man who was never an athlete, he would walk with the stride of a mission-driven bear and dance jigs that seemed tough taught by a robot. With the conviction of a prophet, he would speak the need to nurture the flame of human consciousness, fathom the universe, and save our planet. At first, I thought this was mainly role playing, the team boosting pep talks and podcast fantasies of a man child who had read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy once too often. But the more I encountered it, the more I came to believe that this sense of mission was part of what drove him. While other entrepreneurs struggled to develop a world view, he developed a cosmic view. His heritage and breeding, along with the hard writing of his brain, made him at times callous and impulsive. It also led to an exceedingly high tolerance for risk. He could calculate it coldly and also embrace it feverishly. Elon wants risk for its own sake, says Peter Thiel, who becomes his partner in the early days of PayPal. He seems to enjoy it, indeed, at times, be addicted to it. He became one of those people who feels most alive when a hurricane is coming. I was born for a storm and a calm does not suit me, Andrew Jackson once said. Likewise with Elon Musk. He developed a seize mentality that included an attraction, sometimes a craving, for storm and drama. Both at work and in the romantic relationships he struggled and failed to maintain. He thrived on crisis, deadlines, and wild urges of work. When he faced torturous challenges, the strain would often keep him awake at night and make him vomit. But it also energized him. He is a drama magnet, says Kimball. That's his compulsion, the theme of his life. Wow, very interesting and very sad at the same time. When I was reporting on Steve Jobs, his partner, Steve Wozniak, said that big question to ask was, did he have to be so mean, so rough and cruel, so drama addicted? When I turned the questions back to Woz and at the end of my reporting, he said that if he had run Apple, he would have been kinder. He would have treated everyone there like family and not summarily fired people. Then he paused and added, but if I had run Apple, we may never have made the Macintosh. And thus the question about Elon Musk. Could he have been more chill and still be the one launching us toward Mars and electric vehicle future? At the beginning of 2022, after a year marked by SpaceX making 31 successful rocket launches, Tesla selling close to 1 million cars, and him becoming the richest man on Earth, Musk spoke ruefully about his compulsion to stir up dramas. I need to shift my mindset away from being in crisis mode, he told me, which it has been in for about 14 years now, and arguably most of my life. It was a wiseful comment, not a New Year's resolution. Even as he made the pledge, he was secretly buying up shares of Twitter, the world's ultimate playground. That April he snuck away to the Hawaiian house of his mentor Larry Ellison, founder of Oracle, accompanied by the actress of Natasha Bassett, an occasional girlfriend. He had been offered a board seat at Twitter, but over the weekend he concluded that wasn't enough. It was in his nature to want total control, so he decided he would make a hostile bid to buy the company outright. Then he flew to Vancouver to meet Grimes. There he stayed up with her until 5 a.m. playing a new war and empire building game, Elden Ring. Right after he finished, he pulled the trigger on his plan and went on Twitter. I made an offer, he announced. Over the years, whenever he was in a dark place or felt threatened, it took him back to the horrors of being bullied on the playground. Now he had chance to own the playground. Oh my god. Adventures. So yeah, this is the prologue that I have right now read. So this is the chapter 1, Adventures. Okay. Winifred and Joshua Heldon, top left. Who are they, basically? Errol May, Elon Tuska, and Kimball Musk, bottom left. Cora and Walter Musk, right. Basically, who are they? Tell me now. Okay guys, so I think this would be enough for today. I'm going to read this as chapter wise, because reading this book in one go, I don't think so it's a good idea, right? So I have read the prologue. Now I'm going to start, not now, but next time I would read Adventures, then other time I would read set 2. There are total, how many chapters? Total 95 chapters are here. Okay, you can see here total 95 chapters, and then acknowledgement, source notes, index, photos, credits. Okay, I think it would take me around a month, you can see. If it's a very good read, then I think I could. I'm going to a second. Like you can see, there are only two chapters. See here. Okay, okay, you see 398 and then 404. So it's basically a small stories, a piece of small stories that has now a chapter. I think I can finish this in 1 month. For now, I would say this is a very good read, and I think I can't, not me, I mean not anybody can hate this, man. It's a very good book. You should read, and you will be amazed by it, I think. News of Fire prologue I have been read. So here I have to begin with. I'm going to be like this. Okay, putting this